Franklin, can you hear me now?
Can you hear him now?
Hold on, it says press Alt-A to unmute your microphone.
Oh my gosh. Okay. He's away from his computer.
How about now, Frank?
He's probably muted, and you probably can't do anything about that.
Okay, so Craig was not on mute now, so can you hear Craig now?
Franklin, answer me.
You got him on the phone, Sean.
Okay. He's gonna respond on Zoom if he can hear us.
Franklin, answer me, please. It's streaming. It's streaming. It's on.
Yeah, Franklin's in, so he should be just connecting to audio.
Craig, you're still on mute.
Can you hear me now, Franklin? I can't control the volume of the people talking on Zoom, so I won't. Can you hear me, Franklin?
Meeting's still on mute.
Well, that doesn't help me. I can mute these guys. What
Oh,
about,
look, you're muted over here.
yeah,
Unmute over on the left
right here.
in the bottom.
He's got
How about now, Frank?
I can hear you.
Okay,
loud and
beautiful.
clear. So you're unmuted.
Yep.
You're
Everybody else is.
right here, Craig, if you see.
Yeah, I saw that. Up here too, actually, I just didn't notice that. So if, just make sure that all your microphones are turned on when you're talking,
And public comment, they gotta turn that one.
and I'll, yeah,
Or I'll just go turn that one on.
should we just leave it on? Jamin, yours is not on. I'll just chime in if I notice that they're not on, I guess. Joe, maybe just turn yours on and leave it on for the, no secrets over there, Joe.
The YouTube YouTube is up as well, just to let you know.
Let me check. The YouTube looks like it's streaming, Franklin. I can
It
check
is.
it.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's running.
Better take good notes though, because who knows if it's gonna record it.
All right, are we ready?
Give me, I think I gave away my agenda, so let me go grab one more.
Okay. After we got the technical difficulties straightened out, I'm going to call this meeting to order. Would you join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance Okay, can I get a roll call, please?
Councilman Rao,
Present.
Councilman Hunter,
Here.
Mayor Rao,
Here.
Councilman LaVerie,
Present.
Fitzsimons.
Present.
Are we in compliance with the open meeting law?
Yes.
We are now, huh? Okay. Public comment. Do we have any public comment related to items on the agenda below? In consideration of others who may also wish to provide public comment, please avoid repetition and limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. Do we have any?
I have a comment, but it's not related to any of the items. Well, I've got to find out if I can talk first. I have a public comment about something.
Well, the public comment, this is for just the agenda items. So You'd have to, that would be the second one at the end of the meeting. Okay, with no public comment, we need approval of the consent agenda.
I've got a change on the minutes of the previous meeting. On item B, Public Works Manager,
Which number is that, item
item 6,
B?
6B,
Okay.
under the Public Works Manager report. Councilman Rao asked that Manager Perkins request they reduce the speed limit down to 25 miles an hour between 93 and the turnoff at 317. That should be the speed limit down to 25 miles an hour between the bike trail crossing on Highway 317 to Highway 93.
Okay, say that one more time. Bike crossing,
On Highway 317 to Highway 93.
shows my ignorance. Sorry.
With that change in the minutes, I would move that we pass the consent agenda.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda with the change noted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Items for discussion, possible action. Approve or deny Public Works Manager Grant Perkins' request for an updated variance agreement and pay raise.
Okay. We met with Grant and gave him his evaluation. And after we met with him a couple times on that and went through a couple things there, we met with him and decided with your guys' kind of input on it, we're recommending that we give him his leave balance that has not been renewed since his first year. He has not accrued any leave balance. That just has not gotten put on the books, and so he'd like to see that. So we're recommending that we renew that to him and bring him up to current what he should have. And then we're recommending a 5% pay raise, and then all other terms stay the same.
So let me find that. On that original variance agreement, so you're talking about on the personal leave, just so I'm in agreement, like I just want to know, so he's never had that, because the original variance said employees shall not take more than 5 consecutive days off without prior approval, but he's never been credited the 5 weeks of the paid time off. Is that what
He
you're
got the
saying?
initial 5 weeks on his first year, and then no year after that has he ever received any leave time given to him. And so he's just asking that for those 2 years that he didn't get that we just immediately give him
Get that
that time
back.
back.
Okay.
And then we're asking for a 5% raise, because during this time period of these 3 years, he has never received a pay raise during this time. And he has also never received an evaluation during that time as well also. So
And those other variance terms like the
vehicle, he'll still be able to travel with the vehicle, and he'll be not required to be a City of Caliente resident and stay on the Nevada Rural Water Board member.
as long, yeah, and he just tells us when he's gonna be gone for those meetings and, yeah. I mean, plenty of notice.
And some of those are meetings / training where I get education to keep the certifications, so. I don't know if this is I don't know if this is an appropriate time for me to talk, or if it needs to be, motion to approve and seconded before we can have discussion.
I don't see.
You can either have a discussion now or after there's a motion in a second. So, if you want to have a discussion now, that's fine.
Yeah, I would So with the 5% pay raise, I've been here for over 2.5 years and not received a pay raise. During that same time, all the other employees in the city have received anywhere between a 12 and a 16% pay raise. And I would ask for something more equitable to those lines rather than a 5% raise.
Hey Grant, I got one question.
It's on.
Yeah, I got one question. Can you expand maybe just on having that license for the rural water and I mean the importance of it?
So when you say, I sit on the board for Nevada Rural Water.
Okay, that's not the right one, like the water
So-
handling and sewer license. and
So
stuff
I have a
like that.
water certification, water distribution certification, and a sewer treatment certification, meaning that I'm certified to provide drinking water, safe drinking water for the community. And the city has required that. Chris also has those things, but that was something I had when I came here, and I think it would be ideal for the city to have all of those certifications kept in a situation of redundancy.
Yeah.
So, so those certifications that I need continuing education on are the drinking water distribution and wastewater treatment.
But obtaining that license is also no easy task.
Well, absolutely not. It's, I don't remember the total hours that went into it, as well as you have to have experience in those systems, which I gained somewhere else before I came here,
Right.
that experience. So there was experience to be gained and education to have ahead of passing the test to get those.
And if I can add in for just a minute on that, one of the things that I've had a lot of the same questions about his involvement on this Nevada Rural Water Board. And it's a pretty big benefit to the city to have our utilities manager on this board because he is aware of a lot of opportunities such as grants. There's one right now that they're working on, Water System Protection Act, grants and things like that, that he's just naturally been made aware of. And we get a lot of resources like our GIS system, things like that, that he's able to get because he's just aware of it with the Nevada Rural Water. And so it's been very beneficial to us. And he gets a lot of training for free that we would have to pay for as a city so that he could keep his license, but he gets it for free because he's on the Nevada Rural Water Board.
Correct. Every year they pay for me to go to the conference. The city pays my wages while I'm there, but they pay for the registration for the conference, my meals, all of those things because I sit on the board where I am able to get my continuing education. The other thing that it does is it's put me in a situation to network with people that I wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to. Next, I think it's the 15th is the next county commission meeting. I will be meeting with the head engineer of the Bureau of Safe Drinking Water, and I will be taking him to tour some of the drinking water systems in the county. Just not tour them, but show them where they are, how they get their water, the things that I know. Our system, a couple of state parks in Panaca, and I'm going to involve those other operators in that as well. But I've been asked to do that because I'm here and I sit on the board.
Yeah, I asked the question because we're like fortunate, yeah, Chris has it, but if not, that's a contracted out. You have to have it, so.
So 12 or 13 years ago, when I went to work for Panaca, they were contracting for that, and they were paying over $10,000 a year for that, for somebody to have those licenses. They showed up once a month, signed paperwork, and left.
How long ago? 15
Over
years?
12 years ago, when I started in Panaca.
And Councilman Hunter, you did say you recommend, according to the evaluation, the $500 uniform allowance as well.
Yes, and then
Or
I
don't know if you
forgot, I
said
knew
that.
I was forgetting some. He also, all the other employees in the city have gotten a $500 uniform allowance to spend each year, but obviously that was not part of his initial variance agreement. And so we would like to offer him that same thing so that he's equal to his other employees there. Any other questions?
If we were to approve the 5%, what's the timeline? I didn't see the timeline as far as, future goals and objectives. I mean, if we were to approve the 5% or any percent for that matter, that's a one-time deal, and then his point, or maybe Franco knows, or maybe Grant knows, when does he, is it the next evaluation when he can ask for another one, or what's the timeline?
We expect
if I
it's the
remember-
next evaluation, which is annual according to the policy that the city has. We should be doing these evaluations annually with him. We can do them sooner than that, but the policy states within each year, we should be giving this evaluation. And so at every year, we would be expecting that that'd be the time to ask for a raise depending upon his performance at that time.
Yeah, I kind of figured, I mean, I figured that was the case, but I was just wondering in case it's like, you know, if we don't approve it or if we do, and then it's, you know, 8 months down the road and it's up again, but yeah, I figured that was the case.
Where
Or a
I'm
one-year
sitting,
deal, or 1-year shot at this, yeah.
I'm gonna say where I'm sitting now, I would be fine for them to start and be in January of every year or December of every year, however you guys wanted to work that. I was initially hired in March and haven't had anything since then. And March of 2020, I asked and was talking to councilmen about having that done. And here we are 19
November.
months later, I think. So that is a struggle for me to say, yeah, we'll give you another raise when you come back. And it's taken me a year and a half to get on the.
Different council.
I got another thing too, like as a comparable, I mean, on the water handling just alone, I guess it's fair, I guess can say this, but I mean, I had a guy that worked for me that transferred to do that. Well, actually, two different employees. One went to state parks for pretty considerable pay. Another guy went to the city of McGill and it's like 70 grand a year, maybe more than that, just to be the water.
He probably started at 70 grand and.
Yeah, so I mean, I just wanted to ask that question because having that license
Worth its weight, yeah.
makes a big difference in things. And then I also got one other question because it's on the top of my brain and it's for Franklin if he can hear us.
Yeah, he can hear you.
So Franklin, we had that closed session and are we allowed to bring up anything that was in that? No?
Yeah, I mean, so.
I mean,
guess
we
I'll
can
explain what
revisit it.
happened there.
I should let him answer.
Yeah, you can revisit, we can talk about it. We did that session, and we'll just go with Pool Pack because they're the ones who provide our human resources coverage on there, but they advised us that positions for people like Craig and Grant who report directly to the board, those need to be done in open session. Fortunately, at that time, we actually didn't make a decision within that closed session. We actually decided to push it off until there could be an employee evaluation done. But yeah, if you want to revisit some things that were brought up during that closed session, that's more than all right.
At this time?
Yeah, at this time, if you'd like.
Okay, well, I don't know if this, I didn't see this in here, but are we still going with the retroactive? Back to when we
And that's
discussed
something I was
this.
gonna bring up because I didn't. Yeah, that's something I was going to talk about before you guys voted on it because, to be fair to Grant, and the board is we discussed that any raise would be retroactive to July 1st of 2021. I didn't see that in the variance agreement that was provided to me earlier this afternoon.
Franklin, I
Yeah,
think
and that was the question I was going to ask.
when I was just editing grammar, I think that we had edited that in under the pay where it said it would be effective July 1st. I don't know that we necessarily mentioned the word back pay in there, but I think implicit in that would be that we would pay
Oh,
as of July 1st
yeah.
in the variance agreement.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, yeah, that's under one, the third paragraph though. It says employees shall be reimbursed at the rate of $57,750 per year beginning July 1st, 2021. And again, that $57,750 could change depending upon what the board decided to do this evening, whether or not it'd be more or less. It's up to the board really. So it is there.
So it's 4 months ago, it's not when he started in 2019 or 2018, when did you start?
I started in 2019.
He started in 2019.
It would just
March.
be for the 4 months.
Yeah,
That's what it
From-
is.
Cause we didn't make a decision.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I missed that.
Which is only fair. He asked for it and it's taken us this long to get to this point, so that's pretty fair to.
That was, yeah. I agree.
Any further questions?
I don't.
Okay, pleasure of the board here, council.
One more remark. I completely disagree with using the vehicle, but that was granted to him when he was first hired, but I was against that. I was also against giving any of the employees vehicles to ride home, but I was told by the union that that's a negotiable, that was negotiated as as for them. So we couldn't take that away from them. You have, realize how much money that saves you?
That's the only reason I came to work here. Yes.
You know how much money that saves you?
Roughly,
How much?
about $5,000 a year.
There you go, there's your raise. Who are the bargaining agents for the city, for the union?
Just as a note, this is a conversation for the council between them and Grant, so there can't be any public comment.
I thought a 3% raise, what the rest of the employees got, would be suitable. That's my opinion.
I just got a question on that, but 3% plus keep the vehicle, like still the use of the vehicle?
Yeah, that was granted to him before, so I don't see how we could take that away from him.
So just two comments on the raise the other employees got is there's never been a 3% raise for any of the employees since I've been here. It's always been 4% or more. But in that time period, all the employees have got 12 to 16% raises in the same time period I've been here.
And one of the other arguments to that too is they also have to look at the fact that we didn't give Grant, he's never had an employee evaluation the entire time he's been an employee here. His employees also did not get employee evaluations because we didn't even have job descriptions written for his employees up until we just got this last union negotiation contract. Grant wrote all of his employees' performance of their job descriptions so that we can now give them evaluations. And so they weren't evaluated on their performance during that period, yet they still received their 12 to 16% raises. And Grant never received his performance evaluation to know whether he was doing good, bad, or indifferent. And so kind of equal terms in that respect.
How long you been working?
March of 2019, so
2018.
2019, March of 2019. So it would be 2 years and 8 months?
And you've been driving that car all the time
Yes, sir.
and only wrecked it once?
That I'm gonna tell you about. Just kidding, only once.
What, I don't know if this is a fair question either, but like, if my memory serves me correct, when you took the job, that panel, or not the panel, but applicants, 2 applicants, if I remember right.
Oh, no.
There were 7 or 8 applicants at that
Okay.
time.
I don't remember how many I could start naming them.
I don't even know if that's a fair question to ask anyways, I just. Well,
Got it.
I think that's not asking like personally for the tasks, for the job, for the licenses, my personal opinion. I make a motion, we'll approve, Public Works Manager Grant Perkins variance for a pay raise to meet what's in this variance here.
Which is the
To go with,
5%.
to go with our recommendations.
Yes.
To go with that evaluation recommendation. So that's the $500 uniform allowance, the the personal, the 5 weeks. And the 5, and what else was on there? Oh, and the licensee.
Yeah, he made a motion, so we gotta, hold on if I got a question. And I'll second that motion.
I didn't understand the motion. Would you repeat it?
Motion was to accept the evaluation
Yeah,
The very,
and a 5% raise.
I think, so yeah, I mean, are we accepting, are we
Variance as
the
written.
updated variance agreement.
agreement as it's
Yeah, I think
written?
Not this agreement.
Yes,
This is the variance agreement here.
that's the one we're talking about.
Yes.
And that's the one we're discussing. And that's tied with his evaluation.
And you're not gonna accept this. This has got all these higher figures in there.
No, that's the correct figure. That's a 5% raise.
This has all been changed since.
Yes. Yeah, that has been
This is the
changed
new
to the
one.
current numbers.
That's with the current, right?
Right, so if I understand right, Joe's motion, or I'm sorry, Councilman Laveri's motion was to accept the variance agreement as written.
Yeah, the updated
Um,
variance agreement.
Okay.
Yes, which was
I didn't think
supplied
it
to
was
the city
updated.
council and the public today.
Yeah, you'll see that they're saying the beginning July 1st, 2021. He'll go from, like right now, he's at 54,000 and he'll be going up.
No idea. What exactly is being approved here?
His,
You want to read it word for word?
Can you put their,
we're,
can you
we're,
put this
we're
variance
not,
agreement
we're not
on
in
the
this to
screen?
discuss.
I don't know
This
how
is
that
between us right
So
here.
I'm making the motions, I know, because Franklin's not here, and
We'll be able to.
I'm making a motion off item
Based on his evaluation.
4A to make a motion to approve the request for the updated variance agreement. That's right in front of me.
You can request
to the-
copies of this variance agreement is provided at any request, and it was given during all the supporting documentation.
I haven't seen it. And nobody else has.
Pay raise too, right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that right there.
That variance agreement is
And-
in the packet up here with all the support material, but I can provide that to any individual.
After the fact.
No.
It was available before the meeting. It's been sitting right there the entire time.
Maybe you should have advertised that.
It's there every meeting.
Okay, let's keep this between us here. Let's get this interaction stopped for right now.
One more remark on here before you call for a vote. I've asked earlier that Grant use the local service station for purchasing the gas, and I still see every meeting, there's at least 2 charges from the Y service where he gets gas. And he says, well, he didn't think he might have enough gas. The amount he getting there shows he still has almost a half a tank in his vehicle when he gasses up. So
I would disagree with a couple of things said there. First of all, the amount of gas I get there doesn't tell you how much fuel's in my tank. It tells you how much I put in it. I may be on empty and I may be putting enough in it that it's worth my time to be there. Secondly, there's not 2 receipts every meeting.
you're still not paying attention to the request of the council to use the local business in the city of Caliente.
I certainly do use the local businesses. Tommy, there are gas receipts for me that are from Jerry Sinclair. I don't know if you've noticed the difference in those.
I just noticed the ones that's from out of town.
Okay, any other comments? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
We have two opposed
Aye.
and two in favor? So that leaves it to me to make a decision? Okay. I approve. Motion carries. Okay, approve or deny additional commercial water usage fee.
So we talked about this in the last council meeting, and I believe we need to make a resolution to make this happen. So we just wanted to discuss it, see what you guys wanted to do. The idea behind this is when water trucks are coming to fill up and we need to put a water meter on our fire hydrants, or they're using our water stand across from the fire station, that we charge them a fee for that on top of whatever the gallon rate may be. And the reason being is we had somebody use one of those meters here a while back and use, I don't remember the exact amount of gallons, but it was around 600 or 700 gallons of water. And the bill for it was $1.67. It's not worth sending a bill out for $1.67. By the time you put a stamp, an envelope, a piece of paper, and have somebody do that, we've spent more money billing, spent more money than we're going to receive. So it would do a couple of things. It would make sure each bill was worth sending, and it would also help us pay for wear and tear on our fire hydrants and our hydrant meters that we put on there, as well as pay for some of my guys' times for going and hanging the meter and taking it off of the fire hydrant. The other thing that was discussed after that additional fee was making people pay a deposit when they rent a meter. And we need to seriously consider that. The last time I bought a 2-inch meter, brass meter for one of those things, you're about $1,200. So if that meter was to get damaged or a fire hydrant was to get damaged, we'd be $500 doesn't even cut it. But if we, are charging the fee each time and a deposit, hopefully we would get far enough ahead that we could cover any problems that may happen to our hydrants or meters in those situations. Currently, we're charging 1/4 cent per gallon of water for commercial water use. When I say commercial, I mean from a fire hydrant or our water stand across from the fire station.
You're gonna have to call that different than a commercial fee though, because all of our businesses are commercial.
Correct.
So you're gonna have to change that to some other terms.
Who uses it, right? Like,
But the businesses are on the same rate as the homeowners, which is in our rate schedule. So we could call it a bulk water fee if you wanted. That would be fine. Change the whole wording to bulk water fee.
Anything but commercial.
Bulk is a good word.
yeah, Franklin, are you on still?
Yep, I can hear.
So bulk,
I had-
would the word bulk be able to cover that? Or would you have to change it?
Yeah, well, yeah, we could call it a bulk water fee and we can define that. What I'll do is if the board wants to move forward with this, I'll prepare a resolution. We can call it a bulk water fee and we'll define what bulk water means. Whether it comes from a fire hydrant or it sounds like there's a water stand, right, Grant?
Correct.
In the resolution, you could use
Yeah.
the word bulk, because not
Yeah.
have to be commercial, residential.
Yeah, so if the board just wants to determine tonight what the fee, the non-refundable fee is going to be, and also how much the refundable deposit's going to be, then I can get with Grant, we can get that resolution drawn up and prepared for hopefully yeah, we should be able to get it by the meeting on the 18th.
So my recommendation for a fee for that would be somewhere between $50 and $100 as the board sees fit for that. And then I would like to see $1,000 deposit. $1,000 deposit wouldn't even cover the cost of a ruined meter or a ruined fire hydrant, but it would get us close.
And that's, they receive that deposit back when they return the meter in good condition and
Everything's returned fine and there's no damages, then they get that deposit back.
I got a question on that.
Yes, sir.
This happens quite often too, and I've been involved in it, but let's say it's a volunteer, one of the races. I mean, cities volunteered water for them before to.
then the city can negate, as a
We don't bill
council, we can
ourselves,
negate
no.
that. And
Yeah, I know we want to bill them, but does that need to be maybe in the resolution, Franklin? Because where you're talking deposit and stuff, you know what I mean? I don't know, like some volunteer for, I know we don't do that, but the rodeo or something. and
Well,
then-
no, you're correct. The races do it quite often. They
Yeah.
come in and they ask for us to provide water for them. And so at that time, I would believe the council could waive those fees.
It's gonna have to be something like when they come in to get the approval to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's not just
Because if
races,
we're-
but,
I
I
mean,
mean,
Yeah,
there's
there-
multiple, yeah, okay.
Okay. Guess we don't have to act on that, right?
No, but we need to come up with kind of a number that we would like to put in the resolution to, so you
For the
guys can
fees.
approve.
Yeah,
of
so the
it
motion-
later.
Well, that could be discussed.
Yeah, so-
We should be
No,
discuss
so
it now.
I think there will need to be a motion that just said, that shows that there's at least a vote, what you guys approve the fee and the deposit to be. And then, once you guys make a motion on that, then I'll get the resolution prepared, and then we'll formally accept or reject whatever you guys decide to do on the 18th, the resolution on the 18th.
Franklin, is the wording that I put on the agenda sufficient to allow us to make that motion if we just change the wording, or do? Because I basically just wrote approve or deny additional commercial water usage fee. I would think that we could just change the wording on that and approve it still, but I just want to make sure.
September,
I-
maybe.
We're not
I mean,
approving
we don't have to
anything, but
change the wording on the agenda. We obviously can't do that.
Right.
But I think the wording, yeah, on 4B is sufficient. It's overly broad enough to make people understand that there's
Brian?
gonna be an additional commercial water usage fee. So when it comes to the meeting on the 8th, when there's formal
Thank you.
adoption of the resolution, we'll make a more specific.
actually, the only thing
item
we're approving
agenda.
tonight is for him to have it on the agenda for our next meeting with some fees.
Franklin, we couldn't hear you very well as the train went by, so I'm not sure exactly what you said at the end there.
Oh, okay. So I think that the agenda is sufficient enough for this meeting that the board could discuss what those fees are going to look like, right? So if someone makes a motion tonight saying, we want the fee to be $75 with a resolution, or sorry, with a deposit of $750 or $1,000 or whatever, I think the agenda is sufficient at this time to give us direction on how to draft the resolution. And then when we have a more specific resolution, that will be, the title of the resolution will be stated word for word on the next agenda item. So I think we're good for the board to discuss possible fees and deposits tonight, and approve what fees or deposits to make for the resolution.
Okay. Is that clear as mud there?
So Grant, can you just go over what you were kind of proposing those numbers look like and what they should be?
So the one that I think we need at least a minimum of $1,000 deposit. That doesn't hurt anybody. They get that money back and it covers us. So $1,000 deposit, I think, would be a place to start. And then that fee for just a usage fee, I would say between $50 and $100. That would start, like I said, if a fire hydrant was completely ruined, the last one we purchased was $1,800. That didn't have any cost of installing, nothing like that. Just the hydrant was $1,800. And the last time I purchased a 2-inch meter, they were $1,200. And I haven't purchased a 2-inch meter since I've been here. That was several years ago, so they're probably more. So that $50 fee that we could be putting away would help us replace something on top of the deposit if something was ruined. So,
Which brings up another thought of, we'll have to have Franklin create a deposit agreement with these people that states that, here are the terms that, of this deposit, that you'll get it back if it's returned in like condition, and,
yes,
but if it's stolen, it's your fault. If it's all on you.
yeah.
So 50 to 100, maybe 75, like in the middle?
I'm good
Is that
with
gonna
that.
scare anybody off, you think, or will they gladly pay it, in your opinion?
It might scare a few small users off. That's a steep bill if, like, somebody's gonna use 600 gallons of water. But on the flip side of that, if somebody uses 600 gallons of water, they're not creating enough income to make it worth us sending them a bill. That,
Is there a way to tier that based on a usage amount?
then they would have to pay it at the end.
True.
The idea of,
Or just make
maybe
it
$50 is a good way to start, just a good baseline to.
just a
to start.
$50 minimum charge, and anything that they go above that goes above it.
It's pretty easy, you can draw it up, yeah, it wouldn't take that much. So, okay.
I would still, if I understood you right, you're saying $50 and that would include their usage until they got above it?
Yes,
Or do you think
that's what I was thinking.
Or you think that's too?
I'm just copying what I understood from you.
Yeah,
I mean a minimum, a $50 minimum fee plus usage is my
Okay.
thinking. And my thinking behind that is when my guys have to go hang a hydrant meter.
Yep.
It's time and effort for them that we're paying for to do that, to go hang it for somebody and then to go pick it up later when it's done. There's time and effort through the billing clerk to send those bills out and do that stuff. I don't see it being unreasonable to charge somebody for those things.
The days of just handing a guy a meter, because I've done this, and doing it are over.
Oh, yeah,
Okay. Like, it just don't happen.
no.
Okay.
The,
Because they used to go down, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's just what it was.
well, and things happen where people have their own meters and they show up and hang them anyways. And maybe we need to put something in a resolution about,
using the city meter.
yeah, only using fire hydrants approved and authorized by Public Works.
Because I've done that, I mean, I've personally done that in the past at a race, but we still came to city council, but had our own meter,
Yeah,
and, wasn't an issue, but I guarantee there's people that do,
absolutely.
like just what you said, have their own meter and
Or don't even use a meter.
one or the other. I do like that idea of,
Part of the reason that we want to hang the fire hydrant meter and to be there and look at it is we want to make sure their truck has an air gap. And it's one of those things that they can't backflow something nasty into our system by being hooked directly to a tank that has chemicals in it. So, and a lot of these places we sell water to in this bulk situation are weed sprayers. They come and get 1,000 gallons of water and they mix it with their chemicals and then spray it. Well, when they do that, they hook to a nozzle on their truck that goes up and is air gapped and drops the water in their tank so they can never pressurize it with their pump and push it back into our system. So we want to be there and look at the vehicles and things they're going to be using when they hook up to our fire hydrants.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Okay.
So 50 plus
Usage.
Yeah.
We're
That's
still
what I
good
thought
on,
you were
we're
talking
still
about.
on 50, that's pretty good still, right?
You'll put that thing together and have it at our next meeting then for approval?
Yes, is Franklin going to do that?
Yeah, I'll get the resolution
You're talking
together
about
and I'll just,
some of these weed spraying people. Are you talking about tri-county weeds?
Don't know that I've had them come get water before or not. I know the place that sprays for the railroad, I think they're DRG services or something like that. They've been through a few times and got water. I don't remember Tri-County Weed getting water from us.
not for nothing, I thought I have seen Tri-County.
They certainly,
I've asked Gary's before, but maybe I could be wrong. Maybe
I was gonna say, they've definitely been through here and sprayed weeds.
Yeah, maybe they were just parked down there.
Yeah.
See 'em by it.
Well, I make a motion that we,
I'll get,
wait for him.
Go ahead, Franklin.
I'll get the resolution together and I'll pass it by Grant's desk before the November 18th meeting. So I heard the $50 plus the usage. I didn't hear any discussion regarding possible deposit. I don't know if that was discussed at all.
I
But it
recommended
sounded
a
like
thousand. Is the
Hunter was-
council comfortable with that?
Okay, so, and it sounded like you're about to make a motion, Councilman Hunter, so I'll let.
Okay, so I make a motion that we draft a resolution proposing a $50 fee plus usage with a $1,000 deposit for this bulk water usage.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. To approve this, what do you call it?
Resolution.
Resolution for $1,000 deposit and $50 plus $50 fee plus usage. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Tommy, were you in favor? I wasn't sure if I heard you.
Said aye.
I never heard you say anything.
Aye.
Okay.
That's so much
Motion
better.
carries. Approve or deny Pitney Bowes contract renewal.
Yeah, so this is just we had a 5-year contract with them up until this point. That expires the end of this year. So I've been in touch with, I believe her name was Lynn at Pitney Bowes. And this is just a renewal of that contract. They're gonna bring in new machines, updated hardware, and train everybody on the updated hardware. It's essentially the same machines that we have. We're gonna be able to use the same supplies that we already have. Nothing like that's gonna change. Really, the only difference here is the price, which is an increase of just over 2% on an annual basis, or on a monthly basis. It comes out to $7 a month on an increase, but that's a 5-year contract, so that won't change for 5 years. So I felt like that was pretty reasonable.
What all machines does that cover?
So in that packet, I think there's 2 machines in there. It's our printing and, not printing, but our mail machine, and then our postage machine, and then the folding machine. The folder that folds all of the statements,
That's pretty,
or any mailing that we send out for that matter.
they've always been pretty good with customer service. Have you had to contact them recently since you've been on?
With Pitney Bowes?
Yeah.
I have not personally had to contact them outside of this agreement.
I got a question. What's the tie to NASPO on that?
Oh, gosh, I
I
don't even have it in front of me, I'm
I
sorry.
can come ask you tomorrow. I mean,
Okay.
It's not, I just was,
okay, I don't know. Off
That's
the
like
top
a-
of my head, I don't know.
yeah, I was just curious
Is
if
that
there's
what's
more
in-
like purchasing things.
Is that the company up in the top corner? Or say that again, what's the tie to?
The tie to like NASPO Value Point?
So the NASPO is
I've
a
used it
state-
before and that's why I was curious. It's not that
That's the federal
purchasing.
purchasing group that does that, and it just says that we're using that federal
Okay.
purchasing. It's their agreement that we're using the NASPO values.
That's the tax.
Apologize, I did talk to Lynn about that, I misunderstood. But, so yeah, we have, because we're a governmental entity, we get access to that contract,
Yeah,
as opposed to other entities who may be public entities who don't have access. It's better pricing,
yeah, okay, but
sorry.
really unimportant.
It's good to know, I mean, we have better pricing than other commercial entities do, which is good.
I make a motion to approve Pitney Bowes contract renewal.
A second.
Have a motion and a second to approve Whitney Bowes contract renewal. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Oh, city clerk's report.
You had to sigh before that? I'll make it short and sweet. So I handed these out, and there's one that's tied here as well, but, so I'll just hit the highlights. Charlie has been working for the last several months since I've been here, to get all of our outstanding balances caught up, with the exception of just a couple. We're right there, so that's awesome. Linda had a couple of meetings this week, one with Carmen Pauley, Heritage Architecture. We have a new timeline, which is also attached to this. And then she had a tour with Charlie Donahue and Ellery Staler from the Division of State Lands. They are responsible for the $2 million grant that we're going to use for the interior restoration of the depot, and that went really well. They seemed really excited about the project, and the mayor was there as well. He was able to meet with them, and so that went really well. As far as what I'm doing, that's a good question. So the quarterly reports have been submitted, 941, SUDA, UEC. I've got some room tax issues that I'm working through to make sure that we're tracking all of that appropriately. And right about there, as far as finishing that and making sure that tax returns are being matched up with payments and everything's being recorded accurately. I'm also going to get with all of the entities that are renting and give them basically an updated form, which is just a simplified form where they're only gonna have to input one number or maybe two, and the rest of the calculations will be done automatically, which should drastically reduce any user error when it comes to calculations, because that can be kind of frustrating when it comes to tax returns for anybody. And I mean, there's some other detail on there. I spoke with Stacy at Dan MacArthur's office about the audit. They're waiting for me to get through all of the journal entries that she has submitted to me. I've got a big notebook with a bunch of adjustments that they'd like to see, so I'm working through those. And once that's done, we will coordinate the time of their visit for the audit. Other than that, I don't have anything else to report.
Any
Mayor.
questions?
Yeah, maybe not a question, just a comment. I just want to appreciate the work that Craig's been doing. He's really been, I mean, he hit the ground running. They dumped a lot of stuff in his lap. And I think it was last week or last Thursday, he called me about 8:30 at night and had me come over to sign a bill or a check, and he was still here. And Linda gets calls because his office light's still on about 9:30 at night. So he's, and maybe the public doesn't see it, or maybe they do, but and you look at his report, he's fixing things, finding things, and he's doing a great job, so
Thank
we
you.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. Public Works Manager's report. Mr. Perkins?
Okay, so I know the council is looking for a final cost on how much we spent doing the dirt work at the industrial park. I met with Jim Bourne there today. He is accepting of what we've done at this point, willing to move forward. He's getting ready. He thinks his building is 10 weeks out at this point. So I will be getting financial numbers since we're both agreed that we're done there with the dirt work together and have those for you guys in the next meeting. Next, we're gonna be looking at doing the water, sewer, and the sewer connection. The power district has already given me a quote on the power there. The question I have for the council is, me and Jim remember the agreement differently. When we agreed that we would split the cost of three-phase power up into the industrial park, my understanding was that it was just to upgrade the line, the power line there, and he would pay for his connection. He thought that we would split the cost of everything to the transformer. That's a very different number depending on which way that is. I don't know if there's a way we can look back in the minutes and see what that actually is. So that's something we're going to have to contend with as we move forward.
Go ahead, Frank.
Grant, why don't you and I sit down and talk about it sometime next week?
Okay?
And we'll take a look at the minutes as well, but I remember it a very specific way as well. So you and I will sit down and talk about that next week, and we'll
Okay.
go over that, okay?
That sounds great. And while we're doing it, I just wanted to say that I was talking to Jim about the dirt work we did was not compaction work, it was just moving dirt. And he said he was still willing to sign a waiver noting that the work we'd done has nothing to do with compaction or him building. We were just simply moving material. And so me and you could possibly draw something like that up, Franklin, that he's willing to sign?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good, thank you. So that was one of the big things today, to meet with him. That was nice to do and get that ironed out and that part behind us. In the power department, in the last little while, we have red meters, and that was during the week of Halloween, so it was a short week. We did not get much else done that week on top of reading meters and for water and power. We also, this week, yesterday, had to shut off a customer for lack of payment for their power and water, just making you guys aware of that if you hear anything. And we've finished winterizing the parks and the irrigation systems throughout town, including the outside irrigation here at the depot and the walking path and swimming pool building and all of those things. That's my report.
Any questions?
I got a question. How much longer are we gonna have to do work out at the industrial park, dirt work?
That's what he just said a minute ago.
Yeah.
It's done.
We're completely done then. I see the equipment's still there, at least it was earlier.
It's still there today, yes. We met with him this afternoon, and that's when he said he's happy with what's done, that there would be no arguments about that the agreement we had and where we will be. We will probably do some work there ourselves on that burn, where they burn all the bushes, the limbs and stuff. We'll do some work there, but that has nothing to do with Jim or with Battleborn Butcher Block.
Okay, thanks.
Did he give you an updated, did he give you an updated timeline on when he's planning on?
Building, at this point, he thinks is 10 weeks out. So they're going to start doing more dirt work. So what we did was level the property. He's going to bring it up some more. And
So he thinks 10 weeks out from actually starting to construct?
having the building. He's hoping to be pouring concrete before that and have the concrete pad ready for when the building shows up. So there's a lot of work to do the way he's got to do things. So I guess I'm glad you asked a question, because do we have a date on the Christmas tree lighting so we make sure we have all the decorations done? Or you can wait, I can wait for your
till my
report.
How's
Okay.
that?
I got two questions, Grant.
Yes, sir.
In the bills, I did see the receipt, and, because I didn't want to talk about this when we were doing your variance thing, so I agree with Tom on that. I seen the two from Panaca, and I know it was discussed before, so I do think you should do your best to fill it up in town. I mean, I know you probably do, but there was two in there this month, and I don't know what the circumstance was, but I do agree with Tom on that one. that it should be-
Were they from the Y service or were they from the Sinclair here?
No, they were they're from Panaca. I'll go back and look, but I thought, I was
let's
almost
sit down and
certain I
look
looked at
together.
the two and seen it, and I mean, I don't wanna make a big
The-
fuss
the-
about it, but I do think we should do the best to fill it up.
I can tell you that on October 5th was the last time I filled up using a credit card at the Y service.
Okay.
Because my credit card got compromised shortly after that somehow. I don't know how. Maybe it was because I filled up at the Y service that it got compromised. But that was the last time I filled up there. So today, we're a month ago. So I don't know
Okay.
why those receipts are showing up now.
That-
I do go to Sinclair and they print out a regular looking receipt and I sign it just like you would a credit card. It
Yeah.
looks about like the printout from the fuel machine. So I don't know if it's the Sinclair one that you guys are seeing.
I think just to answer that, the receipts usually come in conjunction with the bill that we pay, and so that's a monthly bill.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's why they would show up a
Okay.
while after they're actually used.
So,
And to be fair, I honestly, I guess, didn't look to see if your signature was on it. It could have been one of the other employees running from Cedar or doing something. I just seen there were two in there, so, I gotta get me some glasses like Sean. And then the other thing was, I guess it's not a question, but kind of more of a comment. I know this was, I guess, kind of discussed in your job duties and evals, is that, and I don't think you were specifically, as we talked about, like kind of told, but in the future, there's gonna be more detailed reports on like what the cost of the pool is, or what the cost of running the trash truck and things like that, so. I just kind of want to make that comment, because I don't, again, like, until recently, there wasn't that eval process, there wasn't a real detailed job description, so I guess for the public and like your defense, there was really nothing to go off of.
I was gonna say too, that's something that I'm working on as well, is to be able to have, a lot of that probably falls on me more than Grant, although he and I will be back and forth on his specific financial data. But a lot of that reporting will come from me. I'll be providing that to the council and to Grant.
Yeah.
So
And to the
I guess
public,
that's
too.
my question is, are you wanting to look at each department every month? Are we looking at maybe doing a quarterly budget meeting?
I would kind of think more of like a quarterly thing, like a quarterly report and, you know,
I think that would be great to be able
more of
to
a
get together
breakdown, and
with
like Craig said, like something better to look at, like what the cost of some of these things are in the future, but I get, my thing was more like some of your treatment wasn't necessarily fair because you weren't given, I know you know what you're doing and doing things, but as we talked about before, there weren't like specific, like, here, Grant, this is your job duties. And I think with the new process, it's more laid out that way.
No, I appreciate, and I've talked to Steve and Jamin about this, that I appreciate the eval process because it gives me an idea of what your guys' concerns are and what you're looking at, which we've never had that sit down before to do, so that does help me.
And then last comment on that, I guess Franklin, I guess for the public too, like your eval to me shouldn't be public. Honestly, I don't even really wanna see it. I think it should be from you and Jamin, the overseer and the mayor, but that's just my opinion, but I guess for the public, I don't really think that's their business of what your eval is. That's my opinion, but I don't know if I'm wrong or right on that, Franklin, but I think it should stay that way.
So, yeah, that direction came from Pool Pact regarding Grant's character and fitness evaluation.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments? Okay. Discussion of legal issues. Mr. Franklin.
Yeah, there's nothing really for me to discuss in open meeting right now. I'm sorry that I'm not there today. I've been sick since Tuesday. I'm on the mend. I'm starting to feel better, but I just wanted to play it safe
Tested.
and try not to infect anyone else. I will let the council know that I will be out of the state on Wednesday and Thursday, the 17th and the 18th, so I won't be attending that meeting either, and I won't be available by phone or Zoom. So I'll make sure I get with the mayor and Grant and Craig and answer any questions that might arise ahead of the November 18th meeting. But other than that, there's nothing again for me to report in this open meeting.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Katsky?
Yes, Mr. Katsky, this is Tommy. Just let me know anytime you want to get together in regards to ordinance 138.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about that. And again, as soon as we decided to do that last week, just turned out to be a really hectic week for me. I was gonna try to get together this week, but then I've been quarantined kind of more or less since Tuesday. I should be out. In fact, I should be able to go out and about tomorrow. So I was going to make the emails to those members of the Planning Commission and try to get something set up for next week or the week following. So
Yeah,
I
next
plan
week.
on making that email.
Next week's going to be bad for me.
Okay, I'll send out an email and we'll just get a couple of dates from everyone to see what will work best for everyone.
Sounds good.
Appreciate it, Tommy. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, building inspector's report.
Well, this is how we've been involved here so long, and I'm not gonna have much of a report. Has anybody got any questions?
Any got any questions for Mr. Dixon? Okay. Discussion of issues related to public safety. Fire chief.
I actually got a public safety. I'm just gonna address the elephant in the room. There still has not been nothing or representation from the sheriff's department. Besides the night we had the meeting. And that night at the meeting, the sheriff still didn't stick around to even comment anything on public safety. He left the building, so I just want to make it aware again. On record.
We had a small incident today. We had a complaint come in and from a citizen here. And apparently we've got somebody in town that was, they were occupying a trailer down here. And there's been a lot of negative things going on and kind of scared some people. And so I talked to the sheriff's office today, got hold of them. Mr. Katsky got hold of them. I talked to him. Anyway, they come down and put a 48-hour tow sticker on that car. So as of noon on Saturday, that trailer next to the Knotty Pine down there will be towed. So I've also talked to, I want to do that with all of the abandoned cars and stuff that are on the streets also. We've talked about it in the past and it needs to be done. So we'll get that taken care of within the next week or so here.
And then I'd actually like to go back on my comment too. I mean, I think the sheriff's department should at least, and maybe we can discuss this with Carrie Lee, but like how, you know, we have a contract with Lincoln County Power and Dave Luttrell comes in quarterly and gives a pretty good report. And that's the only thing I think the sheriff's office would or should do the same, at least quarterly, come to do a report.
We can talk to him and see.
Yeah, it might be best.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I can even reach out to him, but I think they should at least do that.
They have done that in the past. They've come in and told us how many traffic stops.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was getting at, but
hours.
there's never, I mean, I'm not bad mouthing them either. There's just never no
No, I think that's
representation
fantastic.
from them, so.
I'm sure we probably need to make contact with them and tell them that they're on the agenda and this is the day of the meeting. Would they send somebody?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We might have to reach out to them and I wouldn't expect them every meeting either, but maybe something quarterly, how Dave does and come down and at least
They
like
should,
on things like that, update them. I
they
think it'd be
should,
good.
they should be receptive because I spoke to the editor of the Lincoln County Record. We're gonna start having some high school English students submit some things and he had told me that, that the sheriff's department is more transparent or looking to be more transparent in starting to list things in the paper, arrests and police calls and stuff. So we shall see, but hopefully.
Okay. Any other discussion on public safety? Okay. Discussion of council members' responsibilities. Parks Beautification Committee, Mr. Fitzsimons.
Okay, I have a lot. Okay, so we put out flags for Nevada Day last week. They'll be out again for Veterans Day this coming week. Our next meeting is in a couple of weeks on the third Tuesday, so I think that'll be the 16th of November. Scarecrows are being put away. It was a huge success, as mentioned last time. A lot of businesses and even locals and just citizens got involved. Did you guys see Dave Corn Dog's thing at the, yeah. The marquee is still becoming a success as well. It's supposed to, you know, inform people of things going on, but it's also been like a birthday or anniversary shout out. And we charge $10 for 24 hours, so that's kind of been a nice little fundraiser for us. The tree lighting ceremony date will be December 4th, first Saturday of the month. At our last meeting, we talked about those plans. We are not going to use the indoors of the depot. It's all gonna be out here, heat lamps and Santa and cookies and hot chocolate, and we're getting the high school show choir to come perform and maybe some, there's some beautification people in here. Maybe some of the younger dancing groups from Indy Anderson from Panaca. So those plans are in motion. They've been in motion. And in the utility bills, we got the Christmas signs, options out, and so we've had a lot of those. And we're updating the military banners as well for people that have children, grandchildren, in the military, what we do with the banners, so. A lot happening, it's pretty stressful this time of year, but the ladies are doing a good job. And, like I said, I'm just the person responsible to sit there on their meeting and deal with like 10 moms, but I guess that's it, that's all I got.
Any questions for Sean? Okay, community development and planning, Councilman Rao.
All right, our planning commission meeting for last night was canceled due to lack of items on the agenda. Our next planning commission is scheduled for the 17th. We haven't had any other meetings. Next Lincoln County Regional Development meeting will be on the 15th here at the depot. And the next Regional Transportation meeting will be on the 18th at 11 a.m. I would imagine Grant should get an agenda on that.
I did not get an agenda on this one.
I don't-
I got the last one from Wendy, but I did not get this one.
Okay,
Okay.
I haven't got one either, just word that that's when the meeting's gonna be,
Okay. You said the 18th, correct?
18th,
Yeah, I don't know when my next.
11 a.m. And that's all. I'm gonna be gone next week, leaving on Wednesday and be back Sunday.
Any other questions for Councilman Rao? Okay, tourism, Boxcar Museum, Mr. Laveri.
Okay, so we had to move our meeting for the room tax board with the Reese Across America thing, so we're changed it to November 10th at 4 p.m. That was for Jack Horner. Fortunately, we couldn't get that done by tonight, so the other one, just to bring this back to light, because Tommy, I know he's aware of this, but they're gonna, at that room tax board, have a presentation from the NBC, that campaign for the advertisement that I'm believing it's the one the county was involved in, then we're gonna match it, so I'll make sure I'm there and then see where we're standing with that, because nothing's ever happened with it. And then, the Boxcar Met, they're gonna be, shutting down, they were running through a bunch of ideas and things for when they reopen in the spring. They'll be taking some stuff, putting it up here. They got an office up here to put some stuff, go through, clean up, rearrange.
We might have to do that before then, depending on how things go here.
True. I think they'll adapt to whatever happens, but, one big thing I thought was kind of neat, and they might go to high school, but like Coach Phillips was gonna try to like chronologically put all that stuff in there, maybe on some kind of computer type thing, so. They already have it all listed, on paper and pen, but take that and put it in a computer system. And then the biggest, question they really had was, do you know if they're advertising anything for like the 2023 celebration yet? If not, on the website or anything. If not, I can get with you and.
Talking about the depot here?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing been,
I didn't think so
advertising
either,
yet.
but they wanna make sure that that's,
yeah.
you know, the Boxcar Museum's tied in there, and then the ramp's complete, the deck's complete. It's actually pretty nice, you can walk right over to the little caboose and, actually, Steve, and then last thing, you were here that day too, but I mean, people are continuing to go over there. I mean, it's not hundreds of people, but in a month, I'm trying to remember the number I wrote down, I think they had 130 people went over there. October. Even that day you were out here, there had to be 5 different sets of people that all wanted to go over to the Boxcar Museum, so. Honestly, it's pretty popular. Once people come here to the depot, then and then Rick's pretty good about opening it too. If they're gone, he's always willing to give someone a tour, so, yeah. But anyways, and then a bunch of other ideas that, they're definitely gonna need a little funding for, and they were thinking of ways to get it, so. It'll be good. That's it.
Any questions for Joe? Okay, public utilities, Councilman Hunter.
Nothing, no big changes right now. Everything good.
Okay. We had, our clerk touched on this meeting with, was it the Public Lands Director? And him and his assistant were here the other day, and we gave them a tour of this building. They're the ones that are providing the bonding for the $2 million for the work on the depot that we've got, other than the CDBG grant. And both of those people were very impressed with what we had here. And they were, both of them said, when you have this grand opening, we want to be there. They were pretty impressed with the building and with what we had set up for them already. We had all the plans set up for what we want to do. We need to get this committee together and have line that stuff all out. And that'll have to be done here soon, because that money comes available. They want it spent within 90 days. I mean, they want us to start spending the money when it starts coming out. So we need to get the plans and get things in motion and get it going. Okay, I don't have anything else. We need to, well, we'll go to public comment related to any matters concerning the city of Caliente. In consideration of others who may also wish to provide public comment, please avoid repetition and limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. Do we have any public comment? One at a time. If you want to come to the chair, please.
Would you
Yvonne
Just for
Whittle, Yvonne Whittle.
name and address if it would be awesome?
Address?
That would be
Are
awesome.
you gonna be hunting me down?
I know where you live. I know where you live.
I'll tell you, I mean, if you need it on record.
That would be awesome.
750 Holt Avenue.
Thank you.
By the time I'm finished, well, yeah, never mind. Anyway, so I was told before that the city doesn't have anything to do with the low-income apartments. But I have to disagree yet again. I got this from the sheriff's department. I wanted 10 years, but they gave me 5. These are calls that the sheriff's department has made out to the Caliente apartments. What I don't have is the percentage of calls made to the Caliente apartment as to just regular city of Caliente, but I'm sure it would be quite astounding. So these calls are absolutely, this is public safety business too, okay? It really is. There's anything from aggravated assault, child abuse, guns, breaking and entering, you name it, it's in here. And the thing is, it's the same people over and over and over and over. So what I want to know, and what I think the council should do, and if Franklin is still there, I'm glad that you're getting better. I'm sorry that you were ill. I still haven't heard back from anybody regarding the rules and regulations that this new person who owns the apartments is going to institute. Do we get 15 strikes and you're out? Is it, there should be something written in the city's hands that gives us reassurance that this person who owns this apartment is going to take our city safety into consideration with what is going on out there and continues to go on. So it's not getting any better. So I just want to, sometimes when you see something, it really, strikes a chord. So Franklin, may I ask you, have you heard anything back from the gentleman or the lady that you had discourse with a week ago?
I have not heard anything back. And you and I probably won't be in tomorrow. If you give my office a call Monday morning or Thursday of next week, you and I can talk more about that.
Okay, I just think it would be a really, really good thing if this guy has some kind of rules and regulations out there. I mean, what's going on out there is unconscionable to our little city as well as these poor little children. Anyway, thanks.
My name is Pam Wertz, and I live at 750 Holt Avenue. My question is for you. Since you're getting this nice 5% raise, can the citizens of Caliente,
Let me just, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off real quick, and I know this is just kind of a public announcement, but public comment is strictly public comment. It's not a
Okay.
conversation between the council or.
Okay,
it's
this-
not-
okay.
So if there are personal
My
questions, it will have to
comment
be
is-
personal.
since a person is getting a nice raise, can the citizens of Caliente expect to see an improvement in their city? That's what I want to know. And I'll watch for it. I don't think it'll happen, but I'll watch for it.
Thank you, and I'm watching for it too.
Hello, my name's Dawn Mangum. I live at 130 Tennell Street. I just want to know whose responsibility is it to clean up the weeds on the sidewalks? I ask that because on the sidewalk in front of our street, you go 2 houses down and it's a trip hazard. Someone's going to break their neck. They have to get off the sidewalk and walk onto the street to go past that. So it's a concern issue. My mom can barely walk. And I don't want to see her fallen. And her doctor has recommended her to walk. And her strength isn't to be able to walk long distances yet. So that's just my concern. I want to know, is it our responsibility or is it the city's responsibility? If it's our responsibility, then people need to be talking to the people to tell them to clean it up. They're going to get sued or you guys are going to get sued one day. And it's just a concern for me. So, thank you. So if we could get that answered, it would be fantastic.
I just have a simple question. My name is Roseanne Mangum and I live at 130 Tennell Street. I'm a little interested. How long have you been a member of PullPact? Quite a while?
Long time.
Okay. How come there's no job descriptions or evaluations? Because I know PullPact is they're on that.
Well, that's why it was we just got things finished, just got it done.
Just started?
Yeah.
That's sad. Do you have anybody that's in charge of it in,
Like I said before, this is strictly public comment, so.
what?
This is strictly public comment, so you can comment, you can say whatever it is you want to say, but a dialogue is not really the
Yeah.
purpose of public comment.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I was just interested, because he's gone how many, can I say that? He's gone how many years without a raise? Without an evaluation? Okay, how many evaluations did the workers get? How many pay increases did they get in his length of time that he was working? That's my question. It's not fair. And so you guys really need to get together and you really need to work with PullPact because they're a good group and they'll help you out with anything you have. That's all.
Thank you.
I need to sign this.
That would be awesome, yes.
Thank
Dave?
you.
My name's Dave Lavery. I have a place in Las Vegas and I have a place here at 520 Dixon Street. And I don't know if this is the time or what, but I would like to speak to you guys about the Conex boxes. Because I moved a Conex box up here 6, 8 years ago. And I was told, the city ordinance, that it had to be on, above the ground 8 inches. Couldn't be sitting on the ground. And then I had to paint my Connex box. He was the inspector. And since that time, I'm the only one here in the city that's done that. By the time I moved a Connex box up here and did everything, and I made a roof on it, you wouldn't even know it was a Connex box if I had it turned the wrong way. I live next to your sister used to live. But my question is, I don't blame a person for setting a Connex box on the ground, because I worked construction for 40-something years in Las Vegas. They're not going nowhere. But the city had that ordinance, and I had to raise it up 8 inches above the ground. They said, well, you can pour a footing or a slab. Well, by the time you form the footing and everything, you might as well pour the whole slab, which I did. But my question is, what are we gonna do about them now? Is the city gonna give me a credit? Because I know every Connex box in this valley, this town, because I went down every alley and looked. And I know the ones that's come in since my ordinance. And the last city person I talked to wasn't one of you guys. They said, we can't find that ordinance. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that I seen the ordinance that you guys put with the power bills that come from way back when, you guys, over the weeds and all the junk and the cars and stuff. So I'm thinking now, if you have that, you should have my ordinance on the Connex box. And I don't blame a person if they set them on the ground, because I don't see anything wrong with it myself. But the city would not let me. And Kevin Phillips was a mayor, and Ashley Moore, those guys forgot about it. I haven't. I've got all the paperwork. I had to come from Las Vegas to all these meetings and everything. So I would just like to know if I'm gonna get a credit, or the other people in town are gonna start are they gonna go back and put theirs on slabs and paint them? That's my question. And I don't know if this is the right time to ask it or not, or if I wanna meet with you guys alone.
Yeah,
Great.
you'd have,
It's a great time to ask it, and we can answer it probably individually, or.
Okay, because like I said, I don't know if this is the right place, but it just kind of makes me mad, because I could have built a garage for what I have in that. And the city would not give me a finalization on that till he come and approved the paint. He probably don't even remember it. That was in 520 Dixon Street. But I don't know if you remember that or not. The Connex boxes that built the roof on it, made it look like a house. Yeah. But I can give you the names and address. I don't know the names, but I can give you addresses of people that had Connex boxes since then. I guess he's still a BLM cop down the end by the dollar store. He's got one sitting in the dirt. You guys will remember, but Denton's, whoever owns Denton's house, they got one in there next to Dr. Dills' house. I mean, they're popped up all over town, and what I'm just saying, if I had to pay it, if not, the city should give me some type of credit towards my utility bill, because I'm born and raised here, and I would really hate to put a lawsuit against the city. So, and I'm not threatening you, I'm just saying, it's not right. But if you guys want to meet later, and I'll just talk to you about it. And I didn't know if this was the place or not.
Thank
I was
you.
just coming to pay for a flag when I showed it, and I got stuck in this meeting. So, anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
do we have any other public comment? Okay, we need to schedule a date for our next meeting.
So we've got that scheduled for November 18th, at 6 PM.
We should have that resolution on there for the water usage on the agenda. Is the room tax gonna meet before our next meeting?
Yes, on the 10th.
So I'm sure that VFW thing with Jack Horner will be on our agenda,
Yep.
right? So,
One question on that.
what else?
Did we, oh man, I can't remember. I thought no, we didn't. Never mind. I was thinking we approved it at the last one, like based off what the room tax voted on, but we didn't do that, huh? Okay.
Okay. Well, looks like the agenda is completed. Adjourn this meeting. Well, we didn't start on time.
I know. But still made it long.
Yeah.
It's all good.